Stalker 2's 1.5 patch is finally here, and well, I'm happy to say that this update is actually good. So good in fact that either if you've been on the fence with this game or if you've taken a bit of a break, this update will more than likely have you reinstalling the game. I know, definitely a bold statement to some, but as of today, June 25th, patch 1.5 introduces some much welcomed quality of life improvements, additional weapons with the addition of the Cora pistol and the new 3-line rifle, supposedly some big improvements to A-Life, which was definitely a big community request and definitely a welcomed one, mutant loot, so similar to mods like Stalker Anomaly and Gamma, you can now loot the bodies of mutants that you've killed and then sell them, dedicated mod support with Zone Kit Phase 1 on both PC and console, and about 6 million other changes that I'm not going to read through because, well, we'll be here all day, and for the sake of your sanity and mine, I'll leave a link to the full patch notes in the description below and also a pinned comment. There's definitely a bit to cover here, so let's dive right on in and take a look. Upon installing the patch 1.5 update and loading up Stalker 2, you'll find everything related to today's patch included on the main menu, and as mentioned already, there's a lot to cover, so definitely take some time to read through the notes. But one thing you'll also notice is the addition of the new mod browser option, and I can confirm that this includes the console version, as everything captured here comes directly from the Xbox Series X version of the game. Now, of course, because it's only the first day, there isn't that many mods available to download, but don't worry, with the Stalker modding community, this list should quickly fill up. But I need to give a shout out to the user Senkum, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, and as you can see already by the footage in front of you, actually made CJ from GTA San Andreas into a bloodsucker. Oh man, I love it. But of course, as time goes by, modders will eventually update this section with a ton of helpful mods to improve your Stalker 2 experience. Moving on from that and jumping into some of the quality of life improvements, you can now see that the player stash UI has now been expanded, as prior to this update, a lot of us felt that this was definitely a bit too compacted, but now, browsing through your inventory will be a little bit easier as you navigate certain items that you're actually looking for. You'll also notice that the ammunition is now labelled with an icon according to its type, so whether it's basic ammo, expansive, armor piercing or high quality, definitely a welcome change. Another great quality of life improvement, and just something to make your interactions with technicians a little bit faster, is the inclusion of the repair all option for whenever your weapons and armor have degraded from wear and tear. The new Cora pistol and the 3-line rifle are both extremely fun weapons to use, with the Cora pistol packing a nice punch with dealing slightly more damage than the APS-B, and thankfully the upgrades for both the Cora pistol and the 3-line rifle aren't really that expensive, but you'll definitely need a bit of money on hand to purchase both weapons, which can easily be found at any vendor or off of the bodies of enemies that you've killed. The 3-line rifle on the other hand is definitely an interesting one, with its damage sitting in and around the same as most assault rifles in the game, but considering it's a bolt action rifle, chambered in 7.62 and a mag capacity of 5, and with its range and accuracy, especially when fully upgraded, can really make a big difference in a lot of engagements. Weaker enemies and mutants will be fairly easy to take down, with some only needing 1 or 2 rounds to eliminate. However, for tougher or beefier enemies, you'll definitely find yourself dumping a few mags before making a fatal blow. Mutant Loot is finally here, with this feature running as one of the flagship features of this update. When you're traversing the zone, you'll notice a message pop up in your journal relating to hunting down mutants. It appears hunting mutants is a big thing now in the zone, and some will pay a pretty penny for your finds. Most traders will actually trade for mutant parts, with some of the rarer mutants like Buying the Cat's Whiskers providing you with a nice sum of coupons. However, factions such as the scientists at Malachite will provide you with special orders, which are basically fetch and grab quests to accumulate a certain amount of mutant parts for their research, and of course a big bag of coupons as a reward for your troubles. Now, fair warning, I did find that you can't really just go out and pop the first mutant that you see and pretty much just start harvesting their parts for cash. In my own experience, I found that you will need to request an order from a particular faction before you can actually go out hunting. Now, I could be wrong with this one, but you will notice this on your travels. For example, when taking out a couple of fleshes, I couldn't actually harvest their organs. But once I visited Malachite and got my order, and to find some blind dog nasal glands apparently, I was able to head to locations such as Pripyat, take out a couple of blind dogs, but I was also able to kill and then harvest some of Bayun the cat's whiskers, return to Malachite, and then sell these for around 3,000 coupons per piece. Yeah, I left rolling in the Benji Franklins when I left Malachite. But I have to say, this is a feature that really adds an extra layer of something to actually do post-endgame. Or should I say, once you finish the game, load up a save before you go to the point of no return and then just run around and do all the side quests. But it's a feature that gives you more replayability until the next big content drop or DLC makes its way to the game. And if you didn't know, I actually made a video covering some recently revealed info surrounding potential upcoming DLC to Stalker 2 that you can actually check out by clicking on the link on the top right hand corner of the screen. And finally, probably the feature that most people in the Stalker community really want to know about is A-Life fixed yet? Well, after several hours of running around the zone, getting myself into multiple different engagements, my honest opinion is that it feels better, but a part of me still feels like it's not quite there yet. I mean, they do state the following in the patch notes: A-Life Director will no longer respawn characters at the edge of visualization. Instead, respawn move further away from the player while maintaining the zone's population. So some improvements have been made, but I'm not lying when I say this. I genuinely felt that from exploring the zone and moving from region to region, everything actually felt more alive. From seeing a group of soldiers and stalkers sitting around a campfire in the middle of nowhere, to hostile and friendly forces engaging each other a bit more smoothly and what seemed to be a little bit more believable, if that makes sense. But overall, it doesn't seem as janky around the edges, if you get me. It has improved, but a part of me feels that it needs a little bit more tweaking. I don't know, I may have to test this a little bit further, but of course, let me know your experiences below. And last but certainly not least, because as mentioned, there's so much more with this update I haven't covered here, so I do encourage you to read through the patch notes. But we now actually have a water electro tornado anomaly in the zone to deal with. Unfortunately, I didn't come across any when I was actually going through the zone, but from the footage you can see on screen, it does actually look pretty neat. However, that's everything for today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on today's update and what your experiences have been so far. If you're new here and you found today's video informative, consider giving the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you never miss out on future videos. To our channel members and subscribers, thank you for your continued support and helping the channel to grow. Until next time, stay safe out there in the zone, welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch you all in the next video.